Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome. Welcome one and all. I am super excited that you've joined me on this magical today. Today, I thought we would get into talking about food and diet, because this is something that is actually very near and dear to my heart. Within my experience as a naturopathic physician, I have a lot of experience with helping people with their diet. And I also have a lot of experience with making people absolutely crazy with their diet. And I learned a lot doing that. I learned a lot about making people crazy about what they ate, thinking that I was doing the best for them, thinking they should do this and they should do that to help themselves to eat a better diet. And in turn, yes, it's always good for us to eat a better diet and to eat the things that are healthy for us, that our body enjoys, that our body feels good with. And oftentimes we can go overboard with this. And we can get ourselves so caught up in the what not to eat that we don't find any pleasure anymore in eating. And I found this clip from Abraham Hicks, and it's called "The Truth About Eating Meat." And really, the response isn't about eating meat. It's about food in general. And so I wanted to play this because there is a lot of golden nuggets in here, and I think they're really important. So take a listen.
I raised my hand because I want to make better food choices. I'm having feelings about eating meat and animals, and that I want to know if I eat them, the bacon is the dead pig's feelings coming into my body. Seriously.
Oh, we know you're serious.
I'm very serious. And the chickens and the cows. All of them.
Most of what we've been talking about here today has been about connecting to that broader part of you and following the impulse. And we've been talking about bringing yourself back to who you really are. You're going to like this, so just stay with us during the progression of this conversation, because it's going to be new and leading edge, in other words, and freeing. So just let your mind sort of follow this just a little bit. The other day, Esther was visiting with someone, and Esther had made a new decision about something. And this person has been with her a long time and has heard all Esther's decisions about this subject through time, most of which have been the same consistent decision. And now Esther is offering a sort of departure from that decision. And so this person, very well-meaning, said, "No, but what you've always said is this." And Esther said, "I know, and I know that's hard for you to hear something different from me, but you must let my desires evolve." Oh. I didn't know you were ever going to evolve. I thought you were going to give me a policy and I didn't ever have to learn anything else from you again. And then Esther explains, well, as different things happen and different priorities rise, as I'm finding more and more connection with source energy, now this feels like what I want to say about that, even though it varies from what I've said before. So we're talking about how life causes an evolution of the species. All species are evolving as there is a combining of interactions and co-creation on the planet. Having said that, you got that. You understand the point that we're making. You got to let yourself evolve. You also were born into this environment with some powerful intentions and with an understanding of the environment. And so some of you came as plant eaters. You weren't one of them. Now, we're not talking about any humans. Some animals came, they only eat meat. Some animals come, they only eat plants. Some of you eat a little bit of all of it. But what we're getting at is there's strong intentionality as you come in. You got to remember that the cells of your body are taking their direction directly from source. The cells of your body don't have to segment and tend to know what source is telling them about this and that. And sometimes your cells are asking for this, which is available there, and sometimes your cells are asking for this, which is available there. Esther hopes and prays every day that her cells need a Snicker bar.
Oh my God.
And we want to say there's plenty of stuff in there that her cells do appreciate. If you were really in alignment with who you are, you would be inspired to a whole lot of behavior on the behalf of your evolving apparatus. But most humans are like Esther's friend who didn't want to have to evolve with Esther's evolution of thought. Let's just make a policy. Let's just decide what humans should eat. You see how that's working out as you gather together in groups and argue with each other about what you're going to eat? Esther's afraid to invite anybody over for dinner. And don't invite two. There's such variety in what people are eating that it makes Esther afraid. She can hardly pick a restaurant because there's so much diversity in what people want to eat. When the way that it really is that every single person has the ability to connect with source and find in the immediate vicinity something that would satisfy who they are and what they now want. Is this helpful?
Yeah.
So we wouldn't use our head too much in trying to figure out what's appropriate or what's inappropriate. We would decide that we're going to follow inspiration. And we know you have different intentions. Sometimes your intention is all about body weight. Sometimes your intention is about vitality. Sometimes your intention is about getting something that's out of balance back into balance. And sometimes you don't know what the heck you're doing. We're surprised any of you can find anything to eat. Because everyone has written a book about what's wrong with every single thing that you might be inclined to want to eat. And the more worried about it you are, the more of those books will come to you that say don't eat that, until pretty soon you're looking into the grocery store in a state of such confusion. You have no idea what you want to eat. But the cells of your body do. The cells of your body would like you to eat some of all of it rather than none of any of it. When you think about it, isn't that a pretty good way to look at it? My cells want something. I can't stand here in paralyzation forever. And you don't want to let what comes to you come from your place of worry. Process of elimination. Can't eat that and 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 can't eat that. So what's left? Nothing I want. But in a state of deprivation, I will force myself to eat this thing that I do not want, thus defying the pleasure thing that we were talking about here. We're not asking you to be gluttons, and we're not asking you to be unwise. We're asking you to get tuned in and then choose. We're asking you not to try to make a plan unless you're really under alignment. And you know, a lot of times when you're feeling great, those cravings that come to you are direct translations of what the cells of your body would benefit from most. There are a lot of answers in a lot of food. People are worried about processed food, and we think simpler food all around would be better for you. But there is evolution that has happened. Your bodies are changing, and your cells are intelligent, and they know. And a person tuned in to source energy will find what will satisfy you. And this is the thing that trips you all up. Is it hard for you to hear that if it feels satisfying to you, it's a good idea? Think about it. Most of you say, oh, I really, really want that, but I shouldn't. I should not please myself. Where does that come from? That comes from others who preferred that you please them. And they will accuse you of selfishness. You're so selfish. And isn't that weird coming out of their mouth? You're so selfish, and what they mean is, you're so selfish because you won't supply my selfishness. You won't do what I need you to do. And you kind of want to say, I don't really get this. So what you're saying is, I should not satisfy my selfishness. Instead, I should do what you want me to do. Isn't that sort of selfishness? They won't hear it that way. So did we get where you need to be?
Yes, and I think that there's a tie to emotions and family with my food choices too. So when I'm alone, I try to,
Oh, maybe.
how do I get rid of that?
Blah, 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 blah. Maybe. We started there today. There's a tie to everything because you have expectations. Of course there's a tie. Of course there's a tie. In other words, you're all wadded up in so many things. You got to clear the space by not trying to keep up with all of it. Really, it would drive you crazy. Hang around with 100 people and go on a trip for a week with 100 people and then try to decide what you should eat. Or set your intentions. So let's say that you're going someplace where you're going to get food. Esther teases her grandchildren. She said, you know, the other day I found this remarkable place. And they said, what was it? And Esther said, well, it was a big building. I think it was square. It was huge. And when I walked in, there were rows and rows and rows of food items that had to be assembled. And Luke said, a grocery store? And Esther said, yeah, who knew? She prefers to go to the restaurant where somebody else assembles it, and it was really confusing to be in there. And of course she's teasing, but she was making the point that we're wanting to make here, that there are lots of choices. And if you were going to a restaurant or into a place where you're going to buy food that has to be assembled, you might want to set forth some intentions, and you might want to start by saying, I love my body. I love the intelligence of my body. I acknowledge the existence of the intelligent cells in my body. And I get what they do all day, every day in the maintaining of me. And isn't it great? Isn't it great what's going on? And I believe that my cells have preferences, and that in combination with each other, that they are sending me unique impulses. And it's my intention to just follow those impulses. And so you're going into this place with anticipation and appreciation, not just of the excellence of the opportunity of the food that is around you. Oh my. You ever think about that distribution system and the organization of all of that? Isn't that something to acknowledge and appreciate? Even when you get in there, you can see people still placing things on shelves and getting the fresh things out and labeling it and marketing it and marking it with the prices and making it ready for you. There's so much to appreciate about all of that process. Then there's your own physicality and what you want and your own impulses to eat. And even the fact that you're hungry, you have that hunger in your belly, means that the cells are sending you a signal that they're asking for something, you see. And so as you walk into this place with an attitude of appreciation, that will go a long way. Think of all those sticks you picked up. Appreciation for commerce, appreciation for trucking system, appreciation for frigidation, appreciation for all of these things that are so easy to appreciate. Think what you're queuing yourself up to. And now you're in vibrational alignment with your inner being, who's in communication with your cells, and your cells know precisely what they want and are offering a vibrational request for it, which your inner being is translating into an impulse within you, where what's happening in this environment can satisfy those impulses directly from your cells that are requesting them. and then you want to read a book that says what to eat or what not to eat, when you have this kind of intelligent, in the moment communication right now, this is a really good time.
I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I listen to Abraham, there's parts where I kind of zone out and I have to go back and listen again, and then I hear it. I think there's a point that I hear and then my brain trails off and thinks about that part. I don't know if this happens to you. So maybe go back and listen to that again, because there are some golden nuggets in there. The last thing she said, remember this point very, very clearly. You have the most intelligent system that knows exactly what it needs all of the time. Your body always knows. The cells of our body are taking their direction directly from source. And so what makes us as humans think we know better, or makes us want to read a book by another human who thinks they know better? Trust me, I spent a lot of my time around a lot of humans who think they know better for a human body than the body itself. Every body is individual. And I learn this each and every day doing the work I do now, even in my QHHT sessions, because I tell you what, every single time it is a different day, a different way, a different story, a different way of getting there. Everyone has a different experience because we are all individual. We all have our own hue, our own rainbow of colors that are intermingled and mixed in such a way that make us so individual and so divine. And that means what we need to eat is the same. And when I say that and I think about all our colors and all our hues, we need to eat the foods in accordance with those colors and hues a lot of times. Our cells are very simple, just like this. They know exactly what they need. For example, women, anytime you're on your menstrual cycle or getting to the beginning of your cycle, most of us will crave chocolate. And the reason why we crave chocolate is because it's high in magnesium. And magnesium is a smooth muscle relaxer. And so when we are getting to that time of the month, our muscles are cramped. And so we get cramps. And so the magnesium helps to relax those muscles. And so naturally we crave chocolate because our body knows what it needs. Another thing as women that we might recognize is any of you women who have ever been pregnant, anytime you have craved something pregnant, it is because there is something in that food that your body needs. For example, I myself craved French fries. I wanted French fries with my first baby. And I learned later that potatoes are high in folic acid. Folic acid is essential in pregnancy. The body knows. It's so important for us to listen to the body and what the body wants. And how interesting. I love it when she said, know that you can find anything right now where you are that you can eat. It does not have to be this, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that. There is always something for us to eat. And when we make ourselves so incredibly restricted, we are taking all of the pleasure out of it. There's something that we always used to say in naturopathic medical school. There was a teacher who used to say this all the time, and he would just say, eat the cookie. If you're doing really well and you're eating healthy and you're taking that self-care seriously, where you're listening to your body and eating the things that feel good for you, then if you want to eat a cookie because that feels good, then eat that cookie because it feels good. And like Abraham was saying, our bodies have evolved to this point that they can pretty much handle anything we give it. Now, not overdoing it, of course, but our bodies can handle these things in small doses. And so if we want to eat cake, eat cake. If we want to eat a cookie because it tastes good. When we eat from that state of deprivation or that state of worry that this thing isn't going to be good for me, what we're really doing is telling our bodies that this thing isn't good for me, and we're giving it this sense of lack. And what that lack is, it's actually a lack of love. And so my favorite point she made is to acknowledge the intelligence of the body, to love and acknowledge the intelligence of the body, and to walk into a meal with appreciation. This is the number one thing. Walk into this meal with love and appreciation for all of the food that is set before you. When we bless our food, if there is any energy in that food from the people who prepared it or from the being that it once was, that energy can be blessed and loved and appreciated. And now that is the energy that we are eating. That is the biggest point. Everything is energy. There's a reason why we've been blessing our food for so many years, because we are putting love into our food. We put love into our food. We are eating love. It is that simple. I love you all so much. That's going to be it for me today. And I'm going to leave you with this song by Symbolico, Magical Chi. Until next time, I love you all.
Right.